Hey, welcome back to Preliminary Cowslips here. This is CLE Language Arts 7, Book 2. Once again, it's recorded live here in our room. Hope you enjoy. Language Arts 7, Lesson 2, Action and Linking Verbs. Let's review a little bit from yesterday. We talked about a certain kind of verbal. What was it called? A verbal that is a...
that works as an adjective. A participle that works as an
participle. Good. It works as an adjective. Can you find two participles in this first sentence?
Yes.
The awakened child was
calming and awakened.
Good. Awakened and calming. What is awakened modifying?
Child. Calming voice.
And calming is modifying
Quieted
voice.
is the verb.
Excellent. And
Verb.
was quieted is the verb in the sentence. Good. So these are participles. They look like verbs. Awaken. Usually you think of being a verb, doing something. But here's just modifying child, saying what kind of child it was. So it's a verbal. It's a participle that is in the verbal family. The verbal family also includes gerunds and infinitives. But this is a participle. It works as an adjective, and they're modifying nouns. All right. The new lesson is about verbs that can either be action or linking. You can call these verbs sometimes linking verbs. Now, an action verb is a verb that is showing action, is doing something. The ant stood on my desk. He's standing. He's doing something. Something's happening. But if you say the ant was on my desk, then you're saying it's just existing. Was. The ant was on my desk. You don't see him doing anything. You just see him wasing. You see him just being there. But if you say the ant stood on my desk, then you picture this little ant, chow chow, coming up and standing and looking at it. He's doing something, okay? An action verb versus a being or a linking verb. Now, some verbs can be either. What's the verb in this sentence? We felt afraid in the cave.
No.
Felt is the verb.
Afraid.
Now, what is the verb in this sentence? We felt the slimy rocks.
Linking. Was afraid.
What is the verb in this sentence? We
that
felt the
was
slimy.
slimy. No,
Can
we
you
felt.
slimy something? Felt. Good.
Yeah.
Felt. Now, notice, in this sentence, we felt the slimy rocks. Here, the subject, we, is doing something. It's reaching out and feeling the slimy rocks. Here, we felt afraid. We're not doing anything. Well, you can say, oh, our hearts might be pounding, we might be shaking a little bit. But we felt afraid is just existence. And this is actually a linking verb. Now, here's a test that we can tell it's a linking verb. If we can put am, is, or are in there. We are afraid in the cave. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That makes sense. We are afraid in the cave.
We were afraid.
We were afraid. Excellent. Now, felt is linking the subject with what other word?
Okay.
It's linking the subject with what other word in here?
Afraid.
Afraid. Excellent. And so afraid has to be either a predicate nominative or predicate adjective. Which is it?
Predicate activity.
Predicate adjective. Modifying we. We are afraid people. We felt afraid. Now, in this one, we felt the slimy rocks. Felt is an action verb because we're actually doing something. And what receives the action of that?
The direct object.
The direct object. And what is the direct object in here? Rocks. Rocks is a direct object. We felt the slimy rocks. So in this sentence, we would have we felt afraid. And here we would have we felt direct object rocks. Because here we can pull out and put was. We are afraid. We are rocks is not true. Yes?
Afraid is a PA.
Afraid is a predicate adjective. You're exactly right. It's modifying the we. And then down there, rocks is a direct object. Now, in this last sentence, she became a pillar that seemed salty. There are two verbs in here.
Became and seen.
Became and seen.
That's a linking.
Became, is this action or linking?
Linking.
Action?
No, I said linking.
No, the second
Was a pillar.
I said
She
the second
was.
is a linking. The second because
Okay, so you're going to say the second one's a linking. What about this first one? Action or
Being.
linking?
not Chevy says.
It's a being.
Became is linking, and then being.
I think, yeah, it's linking. I think they're actually both linking. They're both linking verbs. She was a pillar that was salty. You can put
I know
in was.
I know who. Lot's wife.
Good. It's the last wife. She became a pillar that seemed salty. So she
became
became a pillar. Pillar would be what?
Right on top is. No, it would be PN.
Not with a linking verb. Predicate nominative. Good. And salty would be what?
Predicate adjective.
Predicate adjective. Okay. So look out for these verbs. Felt, seemed, became, look, appear, smelled. These verbs can be action or being. Either one. Action or linking. See if they're doing something. If the subject is doing something in the sentence, it's an action verb. If the subject, if you can pull it out and put in am, is, or are, or was, or were, then it's just a linking verb. All right, carry on with your work.